Hey y'all, it's Hunter Elliott, rangehot.com. I hope everybody's doing well. This afternoon, I am finally doing a wrap-up on a brand new carbine from High Point, chambered in 10mm automatic. First thing I want to show you is the 10-round detachable box magazine is out, and I will manually lock the bolt to the rear so you see she is clear and safe to talk about. Couple real quick changes on the carbine that you're not used to seeing. They have changed the finish here. It's still black, obviously, but it's gone to a bit of a more of a matte color. And this area here where you get your cheek weld, instead of a little hard plastic insert they're using now, something a little bit more softer, a little bit more comfortable. The only thing about that is it is a little sticky, a little tacky. So if you tend to lay it in the dirt or the grass, it tends to pick that stuff up, but it'll brush right off, no problem. Something I'm really glad to see is High Point now is threading their carbine 5.78 by 28, which is the 45 caliber thread pitch, which I think was a great idea because it's a whole lot more common than what they're threaded the 40 and the 10 in. With that said, I took this out with the Liberty Suppressors Cosmic, ran a couple mags through it, didn't have any kind of reliability or accuracy issues as compared to it without the silencer, so pretty good to go on that. Glad to see High Point threading these barrels. First thing I did is we took it out 25 yards, shot some groups with it. It was pretty good to go. I mean, it was easily grouping 1.5 inches at 25 yards, pretty consistent. So I'm like, well, you know what? Let's see what she'll do at 100 yards. So I put a Riton Mod 5, 4x16 by 40 piece of glass on it. We took it out to 100 yards, shot some groups with it, using some ball and defensive ammo. Best grouper today was 2.5 inches. But the gun, it was averaging 3.5 MOA throughout the myriad of the ammunition we ran on the gun. If you're curious to the exact ammunition that we shot and the groups that it printed out at 100 yards, jump over to rangehot.com. I'm going to have a chart there showing all that, as well as a lot more of the technical features of this particular carbine. As always, this is just a video overview. Well, I'm really thankful to see that the 10mm automatic is coming back with a vengeance. It's kind of re-energized, and I'm really thankful to see High Point chambering their carbine in this and the changes they've made. Well, I think all that is really a good step in the right direction. Now, I can already probably feel and hear some of the gun snobs turning their nose up. Oh, it's a High Point. Hey, you know what? I don't want to hear it. I've preached to y'all for years now that there's a lot of folks out there that's on a pretty tight budget, and that should not detract from the fact that they deserve to have a reliable firearm to defend themselves with, or take to the range, or shoot a match, or have a good time. They're made in America. They got a lifetime warranty. All the ones I've ever shot and tested have been 100% reliable, and they're certainly reasonably accurate. That's hard to find at any price point, and now we're here. So that's something to consider, food for thought. I think High Point is doing a fine job. Someone argued that their firearms aren't the most attractive in the world, and I could somewhat agree with that. Their handguns, they're a little blocky. The carbine's not so bad, but still, function over form always. So rant off. Didn't have any kind of feeding issues over the past 6 weeks. We've been running the gun with a myriad of different type of ball and defensive ammunition, 350 rounds, no problem through that. Everything else is basically what you're used to seeing on your High Point carbine. Here you do have a rear Peep sight, and it is adjustable for windage and elevation. Front blade type sight. If you don't like the rear sight and you want to put something different on it, or run some glass or a red dot, no problem. It is removable. You do have along the top of the carbine, along the bottom of the forearm, and then along the barrel, you do have a weaver rail. So if you want to add any kind of lights, lasers, accessories, or what have you, you've got plenty of real estate here on the carbine to do that with. Just keep in mind, this is weaver, not Picatinny. Generally speaking, they're not interchangeable, so that's something you want to keep in mind. But weaver style accessories are not hard to come by, so that should not be an issue. We did run this with some pretty warm double tap, even a 200 grain hard cast lead bullet. And for the first time, I'm pretty thankful High Point has included this recoil pad here. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was certainly manageable, but as compared to when you're used to shooting a 9mm or 380, yeah, big difference. But good to go still, very manageable. I can appreciate that for sure. The trigger, not bad at all. It's got a little bit of take up, broke pretty clean at 6 pounds. Wouldn't write much over travel. Over here on this side, just like you're used to seeing, you've got your safety here, you've got your mag catch here. If you're familiar with the High Point carbine, then you're going to be already intimately familiar with this. If you're not, you should probably check one out. They are actually not bad at all, and they've got a pretty good following, and there's a reason behind it. And, you know, really in a nutshell, that's about all I've got to say about the carbine. Now, I tell you what we did do. I did shoot some rounds over chronograph, and compared to the velocity that I got from the 4.6-inch barrel of the Glock 20, the high point gave you an average of about 120, 130 feet a second increase in velocity. Now, that's average, but I do have a ballistics test coming up where we're going to shoot everything over the chronograph into gel and get some real-world numbers as far as what is the velocity increase, what does that mean in ballistic gel penetration with and without layers of denim. So that is coming up in the very near future, but I wanted to go ahead and get this review out now because I've been having a lot of emails and a lot of questions about the carbine. Hey, 350 rounds of ball and defensive ammunition from Hornady, Defender, double tap, 100% reliable. Everybody shot it, enjoyed it. Accuracy out to 100 yards. You know, you could bank on 3.5 MOA, which I think that is fine, well within acceptable for a carbine and a pistol round. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. You know, every time I do these reviews, I try to find a couple things bad about the firearm that I didn't like, just because I want y'all to know I'm being honest. But if I was going to change anything on it, I probably would replace these Weaver rails with Picatinny. So if you got any questions, comments, or feedback on the article, let me know. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. We do the social media gamut. I love getting feedback, good and bad. If you've got any questions past that, jump over to rangehot.com where I got the written article. Read that. If that don't work out, you can always reach out to the fine people at High Point. They can certainly get you squared away, no problem. I appreciate feedback on the videos and the written article. I really do. That's how I continue to try to make things better, so y'all will keep coming back and watching the videos and reading the articles. And I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you so much for all the support. That's all I got. Look, y'all take care of yourselves and each other. I look forward to seeing you at the range.